So we get the camera in here a little bit. All righty. So what's going on, everybody? Yeah. There we go. I've got to turn on the microphone. What's going on, everybody? All right. So I figured I'd hang out with you guys for a little bit since the conditions have decided to drop out and they're not favorable for chatting. So yeah, there's always more than one way to skin a cat, as the old saying goes. Hello, Dave. Yeah, I don't do a whole lot of live feeds usually during the day, but yeah, figured, well, then do a little video gating here and there. So like I said, it just had been killing me because of the skip. You know, it comes and goes so doggone quick. You know, it'd hang in there a little longer if I could actually get my beams taken care of. But like I said, I think I'm gonna break down and just order a brand new set and be done with it. I think that's the method of madness, anyways, that I want to go at. Oof, it's hot. So, yeah, sometimes I forget because of the way I've got the microphone set up on this thing. I forget that I have to remember to turn the microphone on as well. Lamar Stewart. Good evening, Tyler. Good afternoon, I should say. Had a very good friend of mine. His name was Lamar until he died in a tragic car accident here a couple of years ago. He just lived down the road from me. He was in a car crash and he got out of the car to kind of see what was going on, and another driver come by and hit him when he was trying to get help. Otherwise, he'd still be with us and be on the radio. You know, I have plenty of extra here, but hello, Kevin. Yep, I am live again. Yeah, I figured since I give you guys a little bit of a glimpse of what I was working on while trying to get in there anyways, I figured I'd just go ahead and spend some time with you guys here on the channel and kind of go from there. Let's see here. seeing what I had as far as for notifications there. But yeah, just like I said, just trying to get some work done here on the workbench. Trying to figure out what all methods of madness I want to do here. Little keying circuit out here. I got a couple of them. Couple of them made a little different than some of the others, so I'm just trying to figure out which way I wanted to go with that. Figure what I heard from my old buddy 3 May today, but I haven't heard from him today. I overslept and didn't get to talk to my wife this morning. I normally talk to her every morning, and she sent me a message. Part of it has to do with the fact that we did the time change here in Indiana again. God, I hate that. Sadly, I know there's several states that do the same thing as far as a crappy time change. That's just irritating as all get out. Just leave us on one time and be done with it. It really serves no purpose other than aggravation. So how's your guys' Sunday going on? Everybody else having a good day so far? No, it's getting close to lunchtime or past lunchtime. I can hear the neighbors. He's buzzing away like a madman over there with a chainsaw. I don't know why he thinks it's going to get cold or something. I do miss my wood heat, but I sure don't miss all the work that goes along with wood heat. Yep, don't miss the carrying of the wood in and out and splitting. I mean, it's good exercise for you, but man, I'll tell you, like I said, I just do not miss all that. And then the mess that goes along with it. But there is sure nothing that feels like a good, hot, warm fire in a fireplace. Nothing beats that. If I can get a hold of one. Yeah, like I said, that was one of the things that I loved. I like I said, I love the heat. I mean, I just didn't like the mess, but I sure do love the heat that comes off of one. And like I said, there ain't nothing that beats the feel of it. That's for sure. Nothing beats it. You guys have been kind of quiet so far on this Sunday morning or the Sunday afternoon. Now, Mr. Nobody, I know for a fact that you can talk up a storm. I've talked to you enough on the phone. I know you're capable of doing a whole lot more talking than you're doing. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you wouldn't think that, a silly little thing like 1 hour would make that much of a difference, but it sure does. And that puts me 13 hours difference than my wife. She likes it whenever we're on, the springtime hours, just because puts us exactly 12 hours apart from um, where she's at and where I'm at here. So, I need to get me a little vacuum cleaner. That way I can clean my little piece of carpet. I started using that little piece of carpet to put my pad down on, and the reason why I used to, the reason why I started doing that is that way if I need to, I can shift this just a little bit one way or the other, and it makes life a little easier. So that's kind of the reason why I went ahead and started doing that. You know, it's a shame I paid all that money for this uh, vinyl that's up underneath the table, and um, well, I don't really get to enjoy much of it. I mean, I do over there by the computer when I have that area cleaned off, but it didn't really work out too well as I had intended whenever I had that designed and made. But that's okay. We all live and learn. And like I said, I mean, it was a great idea. It's just it didn't work out quite the way I had intended. So I haven't put my shorting bar in here yet, and I've been kind of debating because once in a while I've got people that ask for preamps, and I've been debating on if I want to go ahead and put a preamp in this as well. Um, but I generally don't like to build preamps because I mean I know that they cause issues later down the road. That's the main reason. That's the main reason why I generally don't do them unless somebody just absolutely asks for one. And it's something that I can go back and add at a later date. In most instances, anyways. So, all right. So we've got our main output cap put in. I've already got the all the pieces and parts here all taken care of. I think the only thing I've got left is just to run my coax up here to the front, and then we'll tune that out when we get it into the box as far as see what it needs, see if I need to make any other changes within the circuit itself. So, but this one I'm building it with regular 2879s, and it is going to be for sale, guys. So get a piece of glass cut. Yeah, I actually thought about that. I really did. Um, but if I did the glass, I'd probably have to do the tempered. That way, I mean, if I dropped something on it, I've got more of a chance in it holding up. So I need to find out what's going to be the best type of glass. But that is actually something that I've really and truly thought about. And I really would like to use glass just because if I use a tempered piece of glass, I know it's going to take heat. I can run things back and forth. And yeah, I'm not saying that it won't scratch because it can still scratch, but things will slide around and I can do a lot more with the glass overall. But when you're looking at a piece that's basically a 3x8, that kind of gets kind of salty because I wouldn't want to just stop at just basically like right here or something like that. I mean, I know this is primarily where I work at, but I'd want to go ahead and finish it all the way out across the entire bench. Like I said, right now the other side looks like complete dog doo doo. But oh well. But I've been debating on whether or not to make this into a base. I've got a base started, and I haven't made up my mind because I've got two different ones that I've been. Let's see. I've got two different ones that I'm actually going to be building in a biased format, and I figure I may go ahead and just build the mobile version first, and then go back and build the base version next. Because I've also got another base that I've got started that I want to get finished up too for Christmas. So, but this one, I don't have many of them left, but I figured I'd go ahead and I'd use up, finish using up some of the BBI transformers that I bought here several years ago. I've not been using them, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that I've kind of been saving them because it's been very, very difficult to get a hold of them again. Back during the COVID and everything. And I mean, I'm sure that if I would get with Luke, I could probably get some again. But I've been kind of hoarding them, is what it amounts to. But I think moving forward, we're almost at the end of this year. But I've been playing around again with these as far as on the 5/8 core transformers. I mean, I know it adds a little more to the cost, and it is going to be a little bit different tune when you use those versus using the half-inch core. But I think I'm gonna slowly start working back into using the 5/8 cores again on 4 pills and above. The 2 pills. The half-inch is going to be more than sufficient. Lay the mic down for a second. It's actually getting kind of warm, so I'm taking my sweatshirt off. And then I think, and I don't know for sure, I know I talked to him earlier. I think Hillbilly's going to stop by. He's down in Kentucky. He's going to bring me some pieces and parts that I need for another project. And so, all right, yeah, let's get that. And I did when I had, because I've got some other materials that I've got on order too. I've got some silicon wire that I'm going to be using on some of the smaller stuff. When you start looking at the 4-gauge silicon wire, oof, man, you're looking like $20 a foot for that stuff. You go up to the 4-gauge. So the 4-gauge is not practical for some of the other applications. I may get some. It depends on how much of a request I get for that, but I did order some 10-gauge and some 8-gauge. It's a little bit more expensive. Not that much, but it is a little bit more expensive than what I've been using, which is the Stinger wire, which again is also a very, very high quality wire as far as for your main output on the DC side. But I've got 3 huge boxes coming from China. The same company that I've been getting all this Teflon wire from here lately. The company that I've been getting it from, they actually specialize in wire that is made for aerospace. So, for us, it would be, the same as NASA and things like that. They do the same, they do the same thing as far as that. So it's very, very, very high quality, and most of it has actually met and exceeded the U.S. standards that we've got. Whenever I start comparing the mil specs, and then I've run a few of my own personal tests on it, and like I said, very, very impressed with it. So we've got a couple other builders that have started using and buying it from me. Gatekeeper, he's bought some. 3 Made has. Donkey Stomper. So, and I'm just trying to pass it on, pass on some of the savings to some of the other builders, so that they can kind of keep their prices at the same point. Because everything has went up so much, and that's what's really made me start to look at, okay, well, how can I maintain the same cost level without getting insane? So, all right, so let me get, speaking of which, that's kind of the reason why I started some of the rambling, because of the coax, is I went ahead and I ordered 600 feet of RG316, and when they have it available, which won't be until next year when they start producing some of the other again, they've got another very, very unique RG316 that I have not seen here in the US. And again, at least specs wise, they're supposed to send me a sample of that whenever it's available. And like I said, I'm really looking forward to that, because it's going to be different than what you're used to seeing for RG316. So, yeah, we'll take a gander at it. All right, let me grab a piece. I think I've still got a small piece left. Nope. Okay, so I got to pull it off the roll. So let's get an idea here about how long a piece I need. Yeah, so 12, so about 18 inches. little extra. I'd rather have extra and have to cut it off as I would to make an inch too short. Come on, Mr. Nobody. What'd you do? Go to sleep on me? I know everybody else has. I don't know where 3's at. Knowing him, he's probably still sleeping. I don't think he even knows what time it is half the time. Well, skip conditions started coming back in there, it sounds like. Ah, you're doing the medicine for the week. Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to screw that up. You want to make sure you stay on top of that. Okay. I don't know why I'm doing that the hard way. Yeah, old habits are hard to break, but that's something that Chad kind of got me started on using again. And I like this pair, but I wish it was spring assisted. I bought these because they're made by Klein, and I thought they'd be a little bit better. And they are in many respects, but I wish they had that spring assist. Well, hello, 3 Maid. Yeah, smart ass. uh, well, there's a lot of times you go live and I don't even know about it, dude. You know, but I'm like you, I don't hear my phone half the time either. You little peckerhead. Uh-huh. We're gonna play this game today. You've been doing all right, 3? Hard drive talking to himself for about an hour. Not yet. I have called him a peckerhead though before. Yep, I have called him a peckerhead before. So how long did you make that poor little dog wait before you sit there and gave her that new frisbee? Let's turn this microphone on here. Well, you guys can hear a little bit of the skip going on my end that I'm listening to. So instead of cigarettes, this is what I've been using the ashtray for since 2019, guys. Yeah, I think Early fell asleep. He's probably working on that. He's probably working on that 350 that he was working on here the other day, or LS motor. I don't know what it is exactly, but either way, it's a Chevrolet engine. I'm on 14 barefoot. Let's see what that message said here. "40 miles away barefoot." Okay. Well, what the heck? Let's go down to channel 14. Yeah, Hillbilly sent me a message. He's coming up from Kentucky here in just a few minutes. So, yeah, let's give him a shout and see if we can hear him or he can hear us. Dun, dun, dun. Hey, Hillbilly. Hey, Hillbilly, can you hear me? Hey, Hillbilly, 006 Indiana. Waving that hand at you there in that portable. Yeah, so he's right there. He's right there, probably just about to come across the river from Kentucky into Indiana. Because I'm about 48 miles from Louisville myself. Hey, Hillbilly, we're going to give you a wave. We'll give that Hillbilly a wave. 006 Indiana. Yeah. Nope. No good luck on the barefoot. Go back to 28 and monitor that here. There we go. Hopefully that's not too loud on that end. If it is, let me know, guys, and I can turn the radio down a little bit. Like I said, I've got the other microphone sitting there, right there by the speaker on my bass. Yep. All righty. So I'm going to leave this one a little long, and I'll trim this off as I need it. But I have found on sometimes, especially when you change stuff and you go to different transformers and what have you, sometimes you need a little more inductance on the input. So that's what I'm creating, is just a little bit more of an inductance, because I normally don't leave that big of a loop, generally speaking, as far as on the input. So we'll put that on there, and once I go to tuning this, we'll get it all figured out. There we go. All right, so now we got to do the fun part, the feedbacks. Yeah, I moved some stuff around in some of these drawers here the other day, is where I kept grabbing the one drawer for my screws. I've been doing that for a couple of years now, and it's like, if I keep grabbing that, let's just go ahead and move them up to the next drawer. So I flip-flopped 2 drawers on my cabinet behind me for the feedbacks and for my screws. So I got those in two different locations. I have to refill my little tray here. Thankfully, I've got more. Since we use so many of the 100 ohm resistors, I usually buy about 250 or 500 at a time, and then I'll refill my little tray, and then as it gets low, I'll fill it back up. Kryptonite in the Mojave. I'll tell you guys, I sure would love to be able to find some more capacitors just like these that I've been using for feedbacks. I know I've got about another 150 of them, and then I'm afraid I'm gonna have to go back to what everybody calls the old Alibaba caps. And I've been looking for the last 6 months, and I've just not been able to find any real good capacitors just the way I want. It's not the fact that some of the little blue caps aren't bad, but they're not very big. And I like to have something with a little bit more meat on it, just to make it easier on doing what we're doing here. Okay, I think that's going to work out just fine. It's always the hard part, is just sitting there figuring out the distances to make everything. Got a small little pair of pliers that I like to use, and I've got little marks that I've put on them for different things. And I can just put that in there and make my little bends and trim off all that excess. Trim these others back just a little bit more. I said, guys, if that radio's too much, please let me know, and I'll be happy to either shut it off or turn the volume down or something. You know, one of the things that I've always kind of curious about, because I mean, I just like everybody else, I watch quite a few feeds from everybody else whenever I get a chance. And what I was kind of curious is if we've got any other lefties out there, or if I'm the only left-handed builder. Alrighty. Should be the last of everything that needs to go in here. We're ready for a box. I think the only thing that's left is I'll go ahead and put the shorting bar in. Yeah, you're a righty. Well, you're not a, yeah, you might be a righty, but you're not a lefty. How about a thumbs up for all the left-handed people out here watching tonight? Me. Three mate, he fell down and hit his head someplace. Like I said, I figure he's probably inside of a motor right now, or inside of the cab of a truck. Yeah. This camera around here for a minute here, guys. Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna build two more. One's gonna be a base, and then the other one's gonna be a mobile. So we're gonna do the mobile first, and I'll just use this board on the other. Oops. Never had one of these stick before. think it's enough of that 28. Turn those guys completely down. Oh, you're putting a new rear end in too? Jiminy Christmas. Well, like I said, I knew you was working on the motor the other day, but I didn't know that he wanted the rear end changed out too on that truck. Yeah. You know, for just doing a motor early, you wound up in a whole heap of extra work. I'll tell you that, buddy. That's another thing I'm gonna have to order here before long is SO239s. God, it just never ends, dude. Actually, I'm jumping the gun here. I need to pull that board back out. Jumping the gun. I must have made the metal just a little tight on this cabinet here. There we go. All right, let me move this out of the way, guys, for a second. All right. Close enough for what we're going to do with it. I'm just going to draw a line on it here in just a minute. Because I'm going to put 2 more holes in there. That way we've got a switch for our main power and then our sideband delay. And I'm going to put LEDs above those. So. And I'll get a bottle of water here real quick while we're getting everything else ready. I don't do a lot of talking, but I do enough that I do get thirsty. Yeah, I could have done this when it was in the box, but then I risk all kinds of shavings and all that other fun schnit. I'll be leaving, let's see, garage, but I'll leave YouTube running. Oh, okay. Yeah, he's going out to the garage. He's going to look for another radio. I think that's where he keeps every piece of equipment he's got. He's got 15 million radios, and he's got them all over the place. Every time I talk to Mr. Nobody, well, I got to go to the garage. I got to go to the garage. Okay. trash can over here. Let's get some of this shavings out of the way because we don't risk scratching something. Yeah, I know you guys see my dirty trash can. I grabbed the wrong bottle. This one's got the alcohol in it. It's all right. I'll get all the main nasty with that, and then I'll take a rag and clean it up here. Yeah, I like putting a little bit bigger hole. That way I can put bigger wire in there than what it was intended for. When these cabinets were designed. And that ain't much, but it does make a difference as far as to be able to go up to the next size bushing. Okay. And I'd love to know how many of these I have put in over the last 20 years. Jeez Louise. Come on, girl. Hmm. You know, I've seen people go with and without these little grounding tabs, and I know it's always a great idea to put them in there regardless of the situation. That's the one that's got me kind of puzzled, because I've not had any of those that that hole's been a little tight on like that. I got my other drill gun. It's on charge right at the moment, so push that over there for now. Don't worry about tightening up those other ones here in a minute. Anybody got any good stories or anything to talk about today, or you guys all going to be quiet? Let's get you in here on the live feed and y'all just clam up. There we go. Yeah, I like my other drill driver a little bit better than this one, but the other one I've got it on charge right now. I forgot to charge it, and it was dead as a hammer the other day. You're getting ready to sell your 1x4? This one's just going to be a straight 4. That way somebody that's got a striker or something like that can drive it. This one I'm building it with the regular 2879, so it doesn't take as much input drive to get the power up. And I think it all depends on, you know, the radio drive as to which transistor maybe is the best for different people's needs. I mean, I like the C's, but I also like the regular ones too. That's what I've actually got here. Here on the base is a 1x4. That's all I'm driving. So nothing too extravagant. I'll probably build something a little bit bigger here a little later on. I mean, I did have a straight 4-pill, but my radio drive itself just isn't enough for that. So I've got it up for sale on my Facebook page, and surprised I've not had anybody snag it yet, but it's for sale. It's got a delay, but it doesn't have sideband in it. I thought about going ahead and adding actual biasing to it, but and then I built a HG 454 that I ran for the last year, and real happy with it, but just not enough power. So that's when I decided to go ahead and build me a regular 2879 again with the regular 2879s with the 1x4, because the radio I've got, I mean, it does great on peak power, but it doesn't have a whole lot of balls. But that's part of the asymmetry with the ASA mod. You sacrifice one thing for another is what it amounts to. So, but I will build me another one, and I will build me a bigger one and put it up for sale. Yeah, it is still hard to beat the Toshibas. I mean, I have seen a lot more power out of the HGs. I really have. But there's something about the HGs the Toshibas that I still like. As long as you're not doing something like the direct inject, you'll still get pretty good. You'll still get pretty good wattage out of something like this. I mean, if you watch the video get earlier, you'll see that that's what I use as a Lincoln 2 Plus. I really like the radio. It's compact and it's got tons and tons of features. Sadly, without pulling out the book, though, I couldn't tell you how to get to half of the features that's in the radio. I can't even remember how to set the echo, which I don't use the echo, the built-in echo. I use the, like I said, I use that ASIM mod in my radio. And like I said, it doesn't put out a whole lot of RMS, simply because it's driven a little different. But if it's not got one of those in there, the radio's actually got quite a bit of power for it. And if you're doing sideband, something like this, and that radio is like, great, because you can get quite a bit of you can get quite a bit of power on sideband out of one of these. I mean, I've talked, with a similar box like this. I mean, I've still got my original Toshiba that I took out of line here 5 years ago. The switch went bad, and I just built me a whole other amplifier instead of replacing the switch. But I mean, I've still got an original 4-pill that I built, like 12, 14 years ago for myself. Beautiful little amp. But, sadly, they don't make Toshibas anymore. It is for sideband AM. You're not going to get, you're going to be able to get decent power, but you're not going to get, full potential out of the amplifier. but you are going to be able to get decent power out of it. So, I mean, there's pros and cons in everything. Yeah, pros and cons on everything. You guys can get in there a little bit more. Okay, let's grab a couple LED collets. Pop those in there. If that one's too big. I think I can squeeze one of those in there. Just about tempted to go back to my old logo. Well, hello, Armando. Thought maybe you fell off the face of the earth or something. Yeah, yeah, 800 SB. Yeah, that's not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. But yeah, like I said, I thought I'd go back and try to build a few of them. Like I said, I don't have many left, but I'm gonna probably finish up using up the BBI transformers here that I've got left over. Like I said, I bought some several years ago, and like I said, I've been hoarding them for some time. So it's kind of a kind of an overbuild, overbuild, but like I said, I do like these. I really like these transformers, but they are very, very hard to get hold of. That, and the amount that I need to buy at one time, to make it worth his efforts. Right now, most of my money's been tied up, because of the wife. So that's where all my spare money's. That's where all my spare money goes right now. Well, thank you. Let's see here. Sideband mostly. DX500. Yeah, the DEI transistors, they suck. Um, I mean, I know that they were supposedly they were the original HGs, if you will, but and I've heard multiple rumors about that, and um, some of it, some of it I halfway believe. Um, that may have been just a prelude. That's just like I've got another amplifier that I've got upstairs, and eventually I'll get to that, and I'll repair it, and you know put it up for sale. But now I built an amplifier with the DEIs a long time ago, and I built kind of a bastard build because it's a 2x6, and I built it with the DEIs, and it ran pretty decent for about a year, and then one day I keyed it up, and that was all she wrote. So just part of it, I guess. The DEIs just but there was a brief period where, I mean, that was literally all we had. I mean, Toshibas were getting insane in price. That was part of it. And then we really didn't have the HGs to fall back on, at least at that time. So I'll get that started here. I'm just sitting there trying to think what colors I want to put in here for the LEDs. I mean, I've been kind of been using blue here lately, and I don't know. I get some burnout on blue. I know a lot of people like blue, but I've got tons of other colors. Like I said, I don't have anybody in particular in mind for this, because I mean it's going to be for sale once it's built. But if it sells before Christmas, great. If not, it'll be available through Christmas time at least. So I'm just trying to build up a little bit of inventory while I can. I've already had these started for a while, so I wanted to try to go ahead and knock some of them out. Let's go green for sideband. Yeah, we'll go ahead and use blue for the regular. I like to use two different colors myself. There's another trash. Bottle of trash. Yeah, well, some days you'll have that. Yep, some days you will have that. Armando, what are you into today, buddy? I know you're always out there piddling with something out there in your little shack. About 100, roughly about 100 watts, about 100, 125 PEP. I've got a friend of mine that lives about, I'm gonna say 25 miles, 20, yeah, about 20 miles away. Now he has a 4-pill base like this that I built. Now he uses a Striker 497, and again, he's not getting full power out of the amplifier, but it is way more than he had before. But he's just loafing around, loafing his amplifier, but he's still seeing about 750 out of it. And I told him, I said, you need to let me work on that radio and go ahead and tune that radio up, because his radio's not, it's had the modulation turned up, but that's it. Nothing extra. And I don't know for sure where he got the radio itself. I think it was one of those, he got it at he bought it on a whim, basically. Because he had been coming down here and getting all of his equipment, and I think it was just one of those where, he was at the right place at the right time, and that was all she wrote. So. this little ferrite here for that. All right, so this wire here is actually part of the other relay that's in the back, since I'm using a 3-pole for this one. So the main power that's going to feed the biasing is coming from my primary back here, and whenever this engages, it goes ahead and comes through my little orange wire up here, and this is what we're going to use to actually engage and disengage the biasing network. So there's a lot of times where I'll build this one. I'm actually going to set it up to where it can go either class C or go into class B for biasing. So this way it'll actually have 2 modes. For the most part, I just like to go ahead and wire the biasing anytime I do a biased amp. Most times I'll just set them up with the biasing on all the time, and then all you do is just turn the delay itself on and off. And that's a lot of times that's the way I like to do it anyways. I mean, yeah, it does make the amp run a little hotter even on AM, but the clarity, it's got a lot more clarity on AM, because you can run your amplifier on biased, even on regular AM. It doesn't have to be solely for CB, or excuse me, not CB, for AM. So just tin these while I'm at it. Okay. Another piece of orange wire, that way I can keep all the colors the same. Yeah, it will, and that's the reason why. That's just like the bass that I built for myself. It runs on bias. It's biased all the time. I've just got a switch in there for just the delay. Um, because I want the cleanest I can build for myself. But a lot of people, they know that they're going to lose just a little bit. That's the main reason why they like to be able to go from class C over to class B or class AB, which, it's still kind of murky, if you will, on the HGs, is because we don't have a true data sheet like we did with the Toshibas. So some of the people that are looking at it, from the best that I can tell, which, I mean, a lot of it has to do with how much voltage is actually applied to the front end of the transistors. And the best that I have come up with several years ago, because of how things are biased on the transistors, or what will take the biasing on the transistors. What I have came up with is the voltage, what Toshiba typically needs in order to run into a Class A format is too high, way too high for the HGs. But if you move them down to what was, once Class AB, that would actually be Class A for the HGs. And a lot of it is finding out what I call the detonation point. And that's what I did. I mean, it cost me almost $1,000 of the transistors going through and learning at what point, that they self-destruct, basically. So that's always that million dollar question, is at what point do they self-destruct? Okay, and at what point will they hold as far as on the biasing? So a lot of people don't realize that, they're actually running them either too hot on the biasing, because they're going off of the Toshiba build sheet, because they say, well, I want it clean. And it's like, well, yeah, but there's that point where, death and destruction happens. And it looks like I have got a client that has just arrived. So we'll get this wire put in here, and I will go ahead and come on in. Yeah, come on in. So, all righty. All right, guys. So let me go ahead, and since I'm at a good stopping point anyways, we'll go ahead and end the live feed, and we will pick this up a little bit later. All right, everybody. Take care. Have a blessed day.